Hi guys, it's Michelle, and today's video is going to be yet another pop culture conspiracy theories video for you guys. Y'all already know I love pop culture. I think it's so fun and fresh, and I'm here for it. In fact, low-key, all I care about is pop culture. It's kind of bad because I just feel like I'm so wrapped into like what celebrities are doing, and I just love it. Honestly, whatever, okay? But these are some of the creepiest pop culture conspiracy theories that I have seen lately, so let's get into them. Alright, we gotta start with this Ariana Grande shit because I feel like, are y'all okay? This has gone viral. I don't know if there's actually lore behind it or if people are just saying it because Ariana might go on tour soon, and I guess their fans, like, it's like kind of a joke. They don't want people to buy tickets to the show so that they can buy tickets. I don't know. I'm kind of confused as to where this came from, but all of a sudden I started seeing this rumor circulating that Ariana Grande is a cannibal. Like, what do you mean? Basically the rumor started on TikTok, I think, and it just talked about how there were human remains that were allegedly found at a property that was once owned by Ariana Grande. I obviously don't think that this is true. Honestly, Frankie Grande, her brother, tweeted about it and it cracked me the fuck up. He tweeted, "Listen, I know my sister's been eating the girls up for years, but this is a bit extreme. Besides, she's vegan. See you on tour." Like, what? I will say this did come around the same time that I guess Ariana was on Penn Badgley's podcast, and she talked about how when she was younger a fan asked her who her dream dinner guest was, and she said, I don't know, probably be someone like Jeffrey Dahmer. A lot of people were very angry with this, including the families of the victims that Jeffrey Dahmer murdered. Ariana has always been into really dark shit. People genuinely believe that Ariana is a part of the Illuminati, and honestly I can kind of see why. She's always been into really creepy Halloween-y type shit. I think that there is this one particular incident that we talked about a long time ago, but it is a theory that Ariana is cursed to this day. Basically, when Ariana was on tour, I think in like 2013, 2014, she had a very scary experience because she decided to go to the Stull Cemetery, which is literally rumored to be the gates of hell. Like, it is like supposed to be one of the most haunted museums ever. The Pope refuses to fly over it because of the rumors of how haunted it is. But Ariana, for some fucking reason, honestly, I gotta read this bitch's birth chart because I swear she must have some weird shit going on. Probably in Scorpio or something. I just feel like her experience with the occult, she's always been into it. But regardless, she went to this cemetery on her tour with some of her friends and fellow like tour mates, and literally she was so scared. She had never felt such a dark presence and energy around her, and everything after that got even weirder. So the first thing that happened that was strange is that Ariana took a picture at the cemetery where she claims that you could see literally people's faces in the picture of the tree, like very clearly, like the most ghostly photo that she had ever seen. She tried to send this picture to her manager at the time, and it said that the file cannot be sent because it was 666 megabytes, which, like, what? Ariana deleted the picture from her phone because she got so fucking freaked out, which, again, for Ariana to get scared of something like that, it's gotta be really fucking scary. I will say this girl has always loved horror shit. So then Ariana experienced smelling sulfur, feeling physically ill. She talked about feeling drained, weak, and just tired for days. She also had very scary, unusual nightmares that were very vivid and terrifying after the cemetery visit. And apparently her and all of the people that were with her were experiencing like really weird shit with their phones. Their phones were like turning off unexpectedly, and there was like strange static or interference with like calls. It was weird. But a lot of people contribute the fact that Ariana went through a very hard time in her life after this point to this exact day, and they think that perhaps she was cursed or an evil entity has been following her ever since. I don't know if I necessarily believe it. I will say, like, I do think that, you know, something creepy to her definitely happened on this trip. But I don't know if I would say that the reason that Ariana had such a tough time from like 2017 to 2019 was because of this. But I will say the timing is a little strange, but also I don't know. I just think that she probably knows better because she's into this stuff. She probably would have gotten her shit cleansed. So that's just my opinion. But either way, it is a fucking terrifying story. And like, that's a place I will not go. I want to go to some haunted places that are like cute and fun, like in New Orleans, but like I don't want to go to like a place that the Pope won't even fly over. That's crazy. Yeah, do you think Ariana is a cannibal? Yes or no? I'm gonna go with obviously fucking not. Like, that's crazy, but I don't know. The whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing, not looking good for her, gotta say. All right, the next theory that I want to talk about is all about Miss Billie Eilish. So Billie Eilish released a new album recently, and there is a song on it called The Diner. And a lot of people believe that there is actually a very dark real life meaning to this song. So Billie has been stalked pretty relentlessly over her years of fame. But she actually had to file a restraining order against this one man this past year. And it was crazy. He was doing some crazy fucking shit. But people believe that the song, The Diner, is meant to be sung from his perspective, or like the perspective of a stalker, kind of as a general statement. Some of the lyrics include, "Don't be afraid of me. I saw you on the screens. I know we're meant to be. I'm waiting on your block, but please don't call the cops." And then the song also ends with a phone number where if you call it, it's just Billie repeating like, "Hello, hello." And it's just, it's eerie. So Billie's stalker is a man named Sean Christopher McIntyre, and he is 53 years old. And he basically would just send hundreds of messages to Billie and her family since September of 2023. Billie claims that they were very, quote, "disturbing professions of love to me and other disturbing violent threats against my brother Phineas." One of the messages even said that if Billie didn't arrive at his house soon, he would, quote, "take the LA Metro to hurt her brother. I'm sorry for what's going to happen to your brother." Dude, I tried. You know what I'm saying? I really did try. So creepy, because obviously Billie is a huge celebrity, so is Phineas. But when you like look at the fact that a lot of her friends and her parents like are normal people, it is so crazy to see this kind of stalking going on, and I would just feel so scared for my friends and family and myself, of course. But on November 4th of 2023, Billie received some notifications on her Ring camera that said that there was someone who was just trying to ring the doorbell of her house several times. I think it was like of her gate, so like the intercom. It was this guy. He had shown up to her fucking house and several other times showed up to Billie's family's house, and he literally just sat down at the gate and just waited for the police to get there. What a fucking, like, that is so scary. I can't even imagine. I feel like having, I don't like saying it, but a stalker is so scary. And also it just highlights like the parasocial relationship that I feel like is definitely talked about in The Diner. Like that kind of like, oh, don't be afraid of me. I saw you on the TV screen. Like, I love you. You were meant to be, that kind of vibe. And there are people who legit feel like that about celebrities. Just to message a celebrity so many times, the fact that Billie Eilish has noticed it is nuts, because she probably gets hundreds of thousands of messages every day. So it's pretty crazy that he must have been messaging literally everyone that she knows, and it's just horrifying. The next conspiracy theory I believe is definitely true, and it's all about the Pussycat Dolls. So obviously, y'all know the Pussycat Dolls was probably one of the biggest girl groups in the early 2000s, and they were honestly so iconic. But one of the members of the Pussycat Dolls, Kaya Jones, came out talking about how her experience was more exploitative than we probably could have ever imagined. She basically said, quote, "My truth, I wasn't in a girl group, I was in a prostitution ring. When I was in the Pussycat Dolls, I was manipulated and coerced into situations I was uncomfortable with. It wasn't just about talent, it was about who was willing to do what to get ahead, and that's the sad truth." This has been a concept in Hollywood that we have talked about so many times, and to hear someone from, like, again, one of the biggest girl groups of, like, our generation is so sad and so scary. It kind of perpetuates the entire casting couch theory, which is essentially that a lot of young celebrities will be coerced into doing things that they don't want to do with like big Hollywood producers or music producers, whatever, just the higher ups, to get further ahead. And that is so horrible, like that's a thing. I just feel like this conspiracy theory is 100% real. Like, it's not even a conspiracy. It's just like the sad truth of, I think, what's going on in Hollywood and what you don't see. And honestly, Nicole, who's like the lead singer of the Pussycat Dolls, kind of has made some comments in interviews, but they're a little cryptic. She just talked like vaguely about the struggles and sacrifices that involve their success, which some interpret as a direct reference to this being true. And I don't know, I mean, I 100% believe that it's true. It just shows how sick and twisted Hollywood is, and I don't even think people really understand it. I would love to do another deep dive video on the dark side of Hollywood, because I just feel like we didn't even talk about the casting couch in the video I did a couple years ago, and I truly think that it is something so sick and twisted, and it's unfortunately happening all of the time. And again, not just to adults, like literally to children. It's so gross. All right, the next conspiracy theory I want to talk about is all about Anderson Cooper and how he is actually secretly a CIA plant. So at first when I thought about this theory, I was just like, why would they do that with Anderson Cooper? Because in my head, he's just the man who gets drunk with Andy Cohen on New Year's Eve, you know? But no, in fact, he is like kind of the like head of CNN, or like just like he's the main guy on CNN. And I completely forgot about that. So obviously he talks a lot about politics, a lot about just various things that a lot of people think may be linked to the Illuminati and the CIA. So the reason that people think this is because Anderson Cooper is a fucking Vanderbilt, which is crazy because that is one of the most famously rich families in America. Like, that is just one of the highest elites. And where all this wealth and power exists, corruption is not far behind. Anderson Cooper's role as a CNN anchor places him at the forefront of major news events and sensitive topics and stories. And the theories suggest that perhaps the reason for his position and fame in general is because the CIA had him kind of planted there, because this is someone that they could control, someone that they could trust. He's a Vanderbilt, and he can get out any information that we want and keep any information hidden that they don't want us to know. Genuinely, I think that the Illuminati is a thing. I just don't think it goes as deep as like typical celebrities, but somebody like Anderson Cooper is interesting because he has obvious ties to some of the most elite, rich and powerful people in America. And I think that is where the scariness lies, is because, I mean, like Justin Bieber has a lot of money. He doesn't have infinite amount of money and power, and like it's not the same as a billionaire family who's essentially like usually faceless and nobody knows them. They're the ones that scare me a lot. All right, speaking of the Illuminati, there are two events to me that have always rubbed me the wrong way and feel very Illuminati vibes, and it is the Met Gala and the all-white 4th of July party in the Hamptons. Let's talk about them first. Let's start with the Met Gala. So I have always thought that there is something strange about the Met. Like, I think it's super cool, like in a fashion sense. Love it. That's cool. I like looking at all the pictures. What's weird to me is that there are no phones allowed inside of the Met. It's very tightly controlled, but it is supposed to be just like a high fashion fundraiser. Like, why are there no phones allowed in the building? It's kind of confusing. So a lot of people think and have thought over the years that the Met Gala is actually a secret meeting of the Illuminati, and I don't know if I necessarily believe it, but I could definitely see it being in some ways kind of like that. Like, probably nothing like where they're planning about aliens or the government or whatever, but it's probably definitely an event where the elites just like get together and they're like, I don't know, low-key something about it is just sinister and weird. And also it doesn't help that like the secrecy behind all of it and the fact that so many people who are alleged to be in the Illuminati go to the Met every year. It's just, I don't know, something about it really freaks me out. It freaks me out that people spend so much damn money on this event. Like, I don't know. The all-white party low-key creeps me out a little bit more because I saw this TikTok about it showing the different like invitations, and they were just very creepy and strange.
Did anyone else find the invitations to the all-white party extremely weird? This is the highest profile party in the world called the all-white party. It's hosted by billionaire Michael Rubin, and it happens every year on the 4th of July. But there was something about the invitations that just didn't sit right with me. This one is Tom Brady's. This one right here is Drake's, and this is Quavo's. You can see all of the celebrities' invitations if you just look them up. But if you pause and look at the artwork, there's some weird stuff going on. These invitations were done by George Condo. This is a very popular artist, and some of his artwork goes for millions of dollars, and he gave each celebrity their own unique invitation. And I looked up some of his artwork, and he has a lot of interesting stuff, including when he collabed with Kanye West for one of his album covers. He drew him up a bunch of artwork. Yeah, I mean, it speaks for itself. A lot of people question what actually goes down during this party, especially after they saw what Michael Rubin made Meek Mill do, jumping around like a bunny because he supposedly lost the bet. And then in the private jet, when Lil Baby and Meek Mill were saying that they were gonna get drunken hugs if they don't behave at the party.
I don't care what anyone says. You're getting a drunken hug. You too. You too. Drunken hugs are coming tonight.
I just feel like the white party is, again, just super A-list, super strict dress code, wearing all white. Like, it feels like a ritualistic vibe. I feel like anywhere where a bunch of elite celebrities gather together in one setting and like have a party, it's just strange to me. Except for the Kardashian Christmas Eve party. That genuinely seems wholesome, and like I almost said I've debated dating Robert Kardashian. Like, he asked me out. I've debated trying to find Robert Kardashian and date him so that I could go. But also, Rob's cute. I don't know, I'd be down. I also think that within these kind of parties, there could be even more secretive meetings. Like, imagine all of these elites in, you know, one place together at this party, but then there is this like room off to the side where a bunch of the really scary elites go in there and have like a fucking Illuminati meeting. I don't know. It feels weird. Wearing white is supposed to symbolize purity, and I just feel like that's interesting. Like, is it where they get together to be like, no, we are pure, we're not actually demons, and trying to show the world that? Like, I actually just don't get it. There is something strange about it, and it just has never sat right with me. And again, there goes my white party invite, because like the thing is, as much as both of these events freak me out, like I would love to go to them. All right, the next theory that we're going to be talking about is celebrity vampires. Y'all know I love this shit. I think that vampires are so fun right now. I'm really into it currently because I just watched the entire Vampire Diaries franchise. What am I supposed to do now? I watched Vampire Diaries, the originals, and Legacies. Like, I'm just done now. What do I do? Please send help. Either way, this has been a conspiracy theory that has gone around for so long, and honestly, before I watched the Vampire Diaries, I never believed it at all. But essentially, there's a lot of examples of different celebrities who look like pictures or paintings of people from like the 1940s. It's pretty insane, honestly. So let's go through the different people who have past like doppelgangers and then talk about some of the theories behind it. Keanu Reeves is probably one of the most famous ones. There are a lot of pictures of him that are like paintings of him from like the early Victorian era that is just, it's Keanu Reeves. But not only that, he looks like he also has not aged. It's uncanny. It's pretty crazy, actually. Pharrell Williams, another person who literally looks like they're 15. Like, I feel like Pharrell looks so young. And he has actually joked about this, about you looking young, and said that he was a vampire. This picture of Jay-Z, because that's Jay-Z. How are you going to tell me that that's not Jay-Z? Like, that is insane how much that looks like him. Nicolas Cage is another person who has a ton of like 1800s photographs of people who look exactly like him. Jared Leto, also the same, but low-key Jared Leto. I'm not sure how I feel about that one, because I think he's like in a cult. Yeah, he is, right? Like, doesn't he do... Wait, he's in 30 Seconds to Mars? Hold on. Why don't I know anything? I know him as like the Joker. I know, and also Scott Disick's doppelganger. But either way, I feel like Jared Leto has definitely been accused of some cult-like behavior, but also historically, again, doppelgangers. Peter Dinklage is a pretty crazy one, honestly, because there's like this one painting of quite literally Peter Dinklage, like from the 1800s, and I'm like, how the fuck? It's uncanny how much they look alike. Anne Hathaway is also a big one because her husband, Adam Shulman, looks exactly like William Shakespeare, and William Shakespeare was married to a woman named Anne Hathaway. who also looks like Anne Hathaway. And also Anne Hathaway does not age. Most well-aging people of all time because she looks nuts. Like timeless. I don't know. So a lot of the theories behind this involve vamps, and I'm here for that, like, because that's kind of funny and fun, and again, I'm on my Vampire Diaries wave, so I fuck with it. But I also do think that even if they are not vampires, or they were vampires because, like, the people in the 1800s, what if the concept of just doppelgangers is real? Like, what if the Vampire Diaries got that part right? Because as we remember, explaining the Vampire Diaries lore as if all of you didn't watch this legit 10 years ago. Elena and Stefan had several different doppelgangers prior to them that were not them. So what if that is like a legitimate thing? What if there are real doppelgangers, real vampires? I feel like this is just wishful thinking because I want the Vampire Diaries to be real. What would you be in the Vampire Diaries though? Like, I don't know if I would be a vampire. I think I would be a witch. Definitely wouldn't want to be a werewolf. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think of this theory because I honestly don't know. I don't have any explanation other than vampires and doppelgangers. Like, that's just what it is. Okay, the next theory that we're going to talk about is a theory you guys have been asking me to talk about for a while, and it is about the pop color theories. Basically, the idea is that in pop music, a person is going to become successful, like, as a pop star if they have a color that is starkly associated with them. For example, Taylor Swift and red. Obviously, she's always wearing like red lipstick, but also her album was literally called Red, and just the color red is associated with Taylor Swift. Olivia Rodrigo is purple. Sabrina Carpenter is baby blue. Billie Eilish, neon green. Like, I just feel like this is true. Ariana Grande, low-key light pink. That's my opinion. And basically the idea is that these celebrities are instructed to pick a color, essentially, to make into their kind of brand. And it creates a psychological impact where by associating specific colors with artists can basically evoke certain emotions and create a very memorable image. I, at this point, just think it's 100% true, honestly, because I feel like there is so much proof behind this and it's so accurate. Like, when I see Olivia Rodrigo, it's purple. Billie Eilish is neon green. Like, they just have a color associated with them. But if you do that with people in real life, like, it's not really as dramatic, or like actors and such, like, you don't really have. But for pop stars to be the moment, I feel like you gotta have a color. You absolutely do. And I think that this is 100% true, but let me know your thoughts. Okay, there's a theory about JLo and Ben Affleck that I saw on TikTok that I thought was very interesting because this girl worked for celebrity tabloids in the past, and I believe this theory.
So I used to work in celebrity tabloids, and I used to see celebrities do the craziest shit when they wanted to either hide something or deflect from something. And that's exactly what's happening with JLo and Ben Affleck, in my opinion. But I want to hear your opinion, so listen to my theory. So let me catch you up. A few months ago, JLo released a documentary about her life. She shelled out something like $6 million to produce this thing herself. She has a movie coming out this summer, and she was on tour this summer as well. So the documentary tanked. Nobody is talking about the movie, and sales from her tour were dismal at best. For context, the stadium near my house, she was supposed to do a show in 2 weeks, and as of like 3 days ago, she had only sold a third of the tickets. You know, in a summer where you have musical contemporaries like Beyonce, Taylor Swift, the Rolling Stones, you know, major headliners making record sales, the fact that your tour sale, you know, your ticket sales are not moving is humiliating. While all of this is happening, there's now these grumblings about JLo and Ben, who are only like, I don't know, like a year into their marriage or something crazy like that. Like, having serious marital problems. You know, we see him leaving the house, grumpy, covering up his wedding, you know, band. She's in a separate location, doing her own thing. There's all this conversation about an impending divorce. And then yesterday, she canceled her tour, citing that she needed to take a step back and, you know, work on her marriage and deal with family issues. But in reality, what I think is happening is that Ben Affleck, an actor after all, is stepping up to the plate, being a good husband, taking one for the team to create a secondary narrative to deflect from her failing career. You know, my husband is a music manager, and it is a big deal to cancel a tour. Like, it is, you don't do it unless you have to do it. I mean, if you guys remember when Adele canceled her Vegas residency because she wasn't ready, it became a huge problem, not just with the vendor, not just with your audience who's bought tickets, but with the insurances and like all of the stuff that just ends up, it just implodes. It becomes a huge problem. And there is no question that JLo is going to be dealing with all of that. Based on my experience with celebrities, here's what I think Jennifer Lopez is going to do. I think she and Ben and the kids are all gonna go away someplace beautiful like Bali or the Maldives and have a enjoyable summer, live their best life while all of the dust settles from this tour and everybody gets over their anger and frustration with her. And then she'll come back refreshed and fabulous and do some other project in the fall as though nothing happened with her marriage. Wonderful, stronger than ever.
Although I will say I never got the vibe that Ben Affleck and JLo liked each other. I will say I think that celebrities do this a lot, where they will try to basically conceal something that they are trying not to get attention on by bringing attention to something else that they did or that's like wrong or dramatic in their life. And I think that this is 100% true. And I honestly feel like most celebrities do this. It makes a lot of sense, and it's kind of scary to think of what we could be distracted from. Like, obviously this is on such a trivial level, like who cares about JLo's tour and the government and stuff. I wonder how often they do this shit to try and distract us. It's scary. All right, the next theory I want to talk about is something we've talked about before. It's about celebrities' children's names and how the idea that these celebrities come up with very unique and strange names, one for publicity to like get people talking about them, I guess, and then two, to keep their actual names private. And I do think that this is true, but Elon Musk low-key proved it. There's a video of someone asking Elon Musk how he, like, his kid is doing, and it's the XI, like, whatever the fuck his name is. And Elon literally didn't know what they were talking about at first, and he was like, oh, you mean my kid? Yeah, he's good, or whatever.
Sorry?
How
you mean my kid? Yeah. That sounds like a password. Yeah, he's great. I think next time I'm gonna bring him. Maybe come back in a few months and bring him along.
Like, why did it take so long for him to know what they were talking about? And honestly, I do feel like it is for publicity, A, but B, it makes a lot of sense that it's like to protect people. I don't think that that's the case all of the time though. But I do think that that could be the case sometimes. Like, for example, I think like that, like Gwyneth Paltrow's kid being named Apple is like classic. I feel like that's real. And I feel like Northwest, like, and all of the Kardashians' kids' names are real. Like, I don't think they're decoy names, but I will say that I do think that it does create sort of a brand and is helping their child create a brand naturally, and that's why I think they do it, especially in regards to the Kardashians, because obviously the Kardashians are very famous for like doing nothing, having no talent. Everyone always says their talent is keeping me entertained. I'm gonna watch their show. But regardless, it makes sense that they're kind of want to set their kid up for like success by having a really cool and talked about name. And probably has to do with celebrities wanting to like kind of brand their kids, but also I do think some probably are trying to hide the names of their actual children, but who knows? Let me know your thoughts. The last theories that we're going to talk about have to do with Miss Taylor Swift. The first one we're going to dive into is the conspiracy theory as to what happened between Taylor Swift and Karlie Kloss. Obviously, we have talked about the fact that they're gay before. We're not going to go into that theory today. Today, we're going to talk about the theory about how Karlie and Taylor Swift's friendship breakup could have actually had way more to do with politics than we maybe think. So Taylor Swift was very vocal about being anti-Trump, and Karlie Kloss has a really interesting association with Trump's family that I didn't really know about. So basically, Karlie is married to a man named Joshua Kushner, who is the brother of Jared Kushner, who is married to Ivanka Trump and is the senior advisor to Donald Trump. So a lot of people think that this is actually the reason that Taylor and Karlie are no longer friends, was because when Taylor started speaking out against Trump, it caused some like weird tensions within the families, which I guess honestly like makes a lot of sense. And I'd say that this is probably true and maybe more accurate than the gay theory, but I like it way less because gays are way more fun. I don't care about this Trump connection that Karlie Kloss has. Like, but I actually had never heard of that before. Like, I didn't even know that that was a thing. But it makes sense why Taylor would be like not wanting to publicly associate with her, because it makes her look kind of hypocritical, talking, like, considering being anti-Trump to the public. So I don't know, I think it's interesting, but let me know your thoughts. So the last theory that we're going to be talking about is essentially the theory we just spoke about, a Taylor Swift feud. But speaking of our other feuds, there is a theory that all of Taylor Swift's feuds are actually fake. So Taylor Swift is one of the most influential artists of our time, and as much as I love that girly, I will say I do believe a lot of the conspiracy surrounding her. I do think a lot of her shit is for publicity, and it makes me kind of sad, but also, like, do your thing, you know? I don't care. But starting with Kanye and Taylor Swift, I do feel like a lot of people thought that this was some sort of Illuminati initiation, the whole MTV Music Awards in 2009, like, thing. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but it definitely started a feud, which I feel like really popped off in 2015 when Kanye released Famous, which is honestly a crazy fucking thing to do. Is like, I don't know how that's legal, like the way that he released that music video of all the wax figures of naked celebrities, like, I just, without their permission, is insane. Like, I don't know how that's legal, but whatever. And in 2016, Kim Kardashian released a phone call between Taylor and Kanye saying that Taylor approved of the lyrics of Famous, which started a whole fucking thing, and that, like, spiraled into Taylor Swift's Reputation era. And that was one of her biggest albums, and, like, one of the craziest. Everyone was talking about it. Now, what I do think is interesting is the way that Taylor Swift reconciles with people and how it coincides with Taylor's album releases. Like, for example, Katy Perry and Taylor Swift had a pretty public feud. Honestly, still don't really know over what. But regardless, right before Lover was released, Katy Perry was in Taylor Swift's music video for You Need to Calm Down. Again, smoothing over all of their beef and saying that they publicly reconciled right before she releases a huge album. I am interested because I do think Reputation, Taylor's version, is coming soon, and I have been saying this, so if it happens, you heard it here first, bitch. I think Kim Kardashian is going to be on this album. I don't know why I believe it so much. I just do. Because, like, on Tortured Poets, she has a song called Thank You, Amy, where the letters are capitalized Kim. I don't know. I just feel like them reconciling their beef would be so good publicity for both of them. It would be insane. And especially because obviously Kim and Kanye are not together anymore. There's really no reason for Kim and Taylor to have beef. If she got Kim to feature on a track from Reputation, because that was, again, the entire era of all of this shit going down, bitch, that would be nuts. And I want it so bad, and I just think it's brilliant. Again, I do think a lot of these celebrities use these marketing tactics to become more and more talked about, more and more famous. So I don't know, but let me know your guys' thoughts on this. As you guys know, I am a Swiftie. I love Taylor, but I do think that she is a little sneaky. Sometimes I don't think that her relationship with Travis is that real. We've talked about that before. I don't know. I just feel like it's hard once you start doing things for a publicity stunt. It's hard to, like, get back into the mindset of not doing that. So I don't know. She benefits from it. So it's like, why wouldn't you? That is it for today's video. If you guys liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of these conspiracy theories. But anyway, that is it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and subscribe for new videos every week. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.